Hello, this is Dr. Charmaine Gregory, and this is the Nocturnist Diary. This series that this is the third episode in is called Moving Small Mountains, and it's just a brief greatness series helping you to be the best that you can be and put your best self forward. And today I'm going to talk about how to overcome the fear of nervousness that you can sometimes experience, or maybe all the time experience, prior to doing a public speaking engagement. So that, as I discussed in a previous episode, can mean speaking with someone one-on-one, speaking with more than two people, speaking in front of an auditorium. It can mean many things, but public speaking is just basically relaying your ideas in front of others. And it is something that evokes a lot of fear and nervousness and angst in a lot of us, myself included. I talked about the things that happen to me every single time I get ready to give a speech, which is my hands get very sweaty, my heart beats very rapidly, and I just get pretty jittery, and I can start doing things like pacing and just trying to control some of the nervousness associated with it. It is such a natural thing for us to be afraid of speaking in front of others, and it is also very natural for us to feel nervous before we speak in front of others. But thankfully, there are some things that we can do to try to mitigate that discomfort and that feeling prior to. I talked a little bit about some of the tips that we can use to help us be more confident and feel more prepared for our speeches, and that will no doubt help. Today, I'm going to talk about some techniques that you can use to actually help you to minimize the amount of nervousness that you feel, and that you'll be able to use in order to have a very effective and phenomenal speech. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the concept of perfection. Now, a lot of times as humans, even though we cerebrally understand that we are not perfect, we always want to strive for perfection. And the problem with that, however, is that if we have a situation where we do make a mistake, it can derail our entire program and just put us off to the side instead of keeping us in the game. So if you understand and you accept the concept that we are imperfect, and there is a possibility that during the speech that you have rehearsed multiple times in front of the mirror, listen to your voice, talk to a friend about it, you can still trip up and make a mistake. The important thing here is while you are making the mistake, you take a pause, you regroup, and you get back in the game. If you stop and pay attention to the mistake, your audience will then be aware of it, and it will take away from the rest of your speech. So accept that we are imperfect, and even if we make a mistake during our speech, we just hold our shoulders up, shoulders back, put our chin up high, and continue with poise. So that is my first tip. That is, do not expect perfection. And if you have a mistake happen, just continue through with poise and not make the audience aware that that has occurred, because chances are they probably don't even really notice. The second tip is going to be use pauses. And this is very effective in helping you to not use filler words. I know I'm very guilty of using fillers. I'll use pretty frequently. I'm getting much better at it, but I definitely have to focus my energy on trying not to do that. And if you put in a pause instead of your typical filler word, many people have different things that they do. Some people say like, some people say some people said, things like that. Those things can detract from the message that you're conveying. So if you instead use a pause, that will really help you to not use those filler words. Another way that pauses can be helpful to you as a speaker is it can help you to slow down your speech so that you have better understanding from your audience. The other thing is, if you are someone that has a difficult time with stuttering or has some other kind of speech impediment, pausing when you feel the onset of that particular thing coming, then that will help you to regroup and gather your thoughts and be able to not stutter or not have your impediment hinder your speech. Pausing is also very, very dramatic. So it will help to convey thoughts that you feel that are quite important for your audience to grasp. So if you are laying out a particular concept that you really want them to ponder, pausing after you've laid that out is going to give them a chance to digest that information. The other thing is, if you have an audience that is, for whatever reason, daydreaming at the time that you have something that you want them to get, by pausing and maybe making the pause a little bit longer, that has an effect of pulling the audience back in, because then they wonder, wait, the speech has ended? Or what's happening? And that brings them back to you. And so you're able to give them the information that you'd like to give them. All right. And then my last tip is utilize the power pose. So if you are not aware of what this is, there has been quite a flurry of activity around this particular concept. There is a individual named Amy Cuddy from Harvard Business School. She has done some research in regard to this particular situation. And what she's done is she's taken individuals and she's had them practice for 2 minutes power posing, which is an open stance. And they do this, and then afterward they go and they are put in a situation where they have to be critiqued and they have to do public speaking. And what she found was the individuals that practiced for those 2 minutes, those power poses, were more confident, came across as more confident, and were actually given higher marks by the critics. So the whole idea behind this is, if you were to even go into a bathroom stall or in your room, instead of clicking on your phone before, because when you're on your phone, you're kind of hunched down like this, and it's not very much an open, confident, powerful stance. So if you do that, if you actually go and you do a power pose, like a Wonder Woman pose, which is what is the most popular one that she talks about, you are more confident, and there is some correlation between the levels of testosterone that your body exhibits just from that small practice and the lowered levels of cortisol. So the cortisol lowering is basically turning off the fight or flight, and so less of that sweatiness, less of that rapid heartbeat, less of that nervousness, and turning on that powerful hormone, which is the testosterone, which is going to make you come across as the alpha, as the leader, as the one to listen to. So these are just a couple of things, 3 things actually, that will hopefully help you to feel less nervous when you have to give your next speech. And I hope that you found this helpful to you. If you did, please feel free to leave a comment below and to share it with a friend. Okay. This is Dr. Charmaine Gregory, and this is the Nocturnist Diary. Remember to be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.